This is the Weigh-In Podcast by Ben Watt. That's nuts.
And Sebastian Romero.
Well, on this week's Weigh-In, we're back to the mental wrestler. So today we talk about how friendship helps athletics. So how does friendship help in sports? And we're going to talk about feeding off the energy of the guy that gets behind you or after you. Feeding off the energy as a wrestler. So we've got some stuff for you and whatever else comes up in the time of recording. Because as you know, we get sidetracked for so much of these wrestling epis or any epi in that
Exactly.
for that case. But yet again, that is this week's weigh-in. And Takedown Thursday.
Exactly.
So if we jump right into this, if we jump, we're gonna jump right into this. The mental wrestler, and I know that's a term that we use loosely, but feeding off the energy of another wrestler before you. So that would be you get in there and your guy gets a pinfall and you come up big duel me, and it's your turn. We saw this a lot with the Okie State Cowboys when they had Cameron Amin or David Taylor's first championship as a head coach. We saw a lot of that. I know a lot of you are like, that's in the coming years. We saw a lot of like, hey, one guy gets a pin, you're so psyched. You go in there, another guy gets a pin. We see a lot of it at Nationals. And it sets a mood to go in there after. It's like the follow-up performance. You know, it's really hard to get in there and follow it up. I think, you know, in terms of my partner here, he did a little bit of bowling. So he could talk about how it feels coming up after somebody, you know, after really coming in there and getting something really well, then having to come and be like, all right, now it's my turn to do really well. You know, he's done many of the team sports and under that matter, but nonetheless, following up the performance after the show.
And you said about bowling?
Yeah, in particular, yeah. You know, when you tried out bowling, did you feel in any way that there was like, hey, this guy just did this, I've got to now do it? I get you were trying out, but did you have that same feeling of, hey, next man up mentality, I got to do better, or I got to do the same or better?
Yeah. When I did apply for bowling, when we were in Rose Park High School, and I applied for the Panthers bowling team, it was good. I tried out, and because I'm a good bowler and all of that, but that comes from being a good bowler to being a great bowler who's like in a sport and doing that for a lot. Like, I went there because I'm a bowler, just regular that like bowling with my family friends. I'm like, you know what? Let me try being in a bowling team. I tried out, and I felt like I did really good and stuff because I'm a real bowler and stuff. So I felt so confident I was gonna get in. But then you have to realize that I'm just a bowler to go have fun and play with like family and friends. While the other the other the other the other students who were also the other students who were applying for the bowling team, they both professional before. They do competition, so they're used to it. So they had a better advantage than I did because I just do it for fun. But I don't think it matters with that. I thought I did a great. I think I did great to be part of the bowling team. But mostly, um, Pucci, who was the bowling coach, he was looking out for more people who are used to competing and in bowling and people who had experience that they did. So they picked them instead of me. And one thing is, as you guys know, I can't tie my shoes to this day. I don't know how to tie my shoes.
No.
I don't.
Don't call yourself out like that.
It's okay.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't know how to tie my shoes. I'm 25 and I still don't know how to tie my shoes, and I'm not gonna learn because I don't want to learn. I'm just wearing shoes that I don't have to tie, and that's it. So I also have to tie my shoes when I want to do the tryouts, and I can't tie my shoes, and I don't want to look embarrassed asking that I can't tie my shoes. So I just grab my laces and I put them underneath my feet, and then I stepped on them. So I was doing it like that, and that also affected me because you're supposed to tie your shoes unless you go to a bowling alley that has Velcro and they close. That's different, but we don't want that you have to tie your shoes. So that also put the part that I was doing bad because I don't know how to tie my shoes. And then, but through everything, I did great for bowling. I think I, I think I deserve to be part of the bowling team. But then I do understand Fuchi's point that he wants people who compete in bowling who are used to bowling because they have more experience than I do because I just do bowling for fun. While there's people that compete for bowling and make millions. But for me, I just did it for fun. So I didn't make the bowling team. I thought I should have, but I understand that they're gonna pick somebody more experienced than I have because that's the way it is in sports, in working, and anything you do. They're gonna give somebody more experience, pick somebody more experienced than you. If you're more experienced than the person, you're gonna be picked. But they're always gonna pick the person that's more experienced and qualified for the sport or the job or whatever you
Yeah,
do
but
in
I
life.
think what we started to learn on the mental wrestler, um, all of that is not always true because the guy who could have wrestled for 1 year can be the guy who's been wrestling for 10 because it's all about mental here, how you choose to take that. Like we talked about the next man up mentality. You were able to not process that so well, and that's not a good or bad thing. It's just many people process it in different
Exactly.
ways. And I think when we go about that, yeah, some guys might not make teams, in certain ways, but it's always the next man up mentality. I think a lot of these wrestlers, we're gonna, you know what? I'm glad that you brought up not making it because now what recently just happened was the Ultimate Club duels out of Penn State, and I get, we probably got a few viewers that may not have made those elite teams that went to Ultimate Club duels and might feel like they chose somebody who's more experienced, they chose somebody. So you know what? Like we always say, whatever comes up time recording, we're gonna change ourselves right now, right here. The making of a travel wrestling, making of a travel team. You know, I, he makes a great point that it's it's okay to feel, hey, I wasn't picked to go to Ultimate Club duels, but her, and her went, or he went, or whatever they are, they, whatever the case may be, that person went. You know, hey, they went to Ultimate Club duels, I didn't. Now I feel like I should have gone, but I understand that they were more experienced. Experience has nothing to do with it. It's more about skill, how you grasp the concept of what you do. And I think now that we're on, the mental wrestler, this is one thing where it's like, hey, somebody could have wrestled for 12 years. You could pin them. They wrestled 12 years. You could be better than them. You've only wrestled for 2. That's because you put more time and effort into what you're doing. When you're doing something, you got to practice, practice, practice. So what we've learned here, somebody who studies and practices like crazy is going to be really good because they're perfecting their craft versus somebody who goes in there and might say, for instance, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this today. Something for me to do. They may not make it because they're just popping up. This is what to do. But nonetheless, a lot of good comes from that. Like we said, being the mental wrestler, everybody's been one way or another. Where an elite team goes down, you feel like you don't make the team unless you're the star pupil. If you're the star pupil, you're the star. Forget it. You're everywhere they need to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think not making something, a lot of wrestlers can feel with. Hey, how many one match you don't make it to the state tournament? We all know that. You're like, wow, I
Exactly.
felt like I should have done it, but I understand that guy had more skill. No, if you gave up a late takedown in overtime, being what we called in previous weeks lazy wrestling, hey, that's on you. So it's really about how you accept what comes to you and how you deal with challenges. I think he's great to bring that up to say, hey, I didn't particularly make this. There's tons of wrestlers that could say, hey, I didn't qualify for this because this and that. That's a good point. I like that point because it really brings up making versus not making something and saying there's a way to do that. and he's really explaining, the partner's explaining to you guys how he was able to take that in a positive manifest, which is really good. Move positively from not making the bowling team. This translates to moving positively when you don't get your takedowns the way you want them. Moving positively with the way the outcome may come. It's like, hey, you lose in a tournament, you can no longer become a champion. It's all about the next best placement. The next best placement. And I think that's really great that he brings up, hey, I didn't make it, but I understand why. That's that is a great way to put it. I think that's an amazing way to put it, that we're on the mental wrestler and the next man up mentality, and how we kind of said, we started with the next man or the next person up, and how you're able to feed off of that. He's able to explain a little bit of the flip side of that. And I think that was a great point brought up, to explain that like that, just so the viewer can understand. I think that's absolutely up the alleyway of these wrestling epis with that, saying, hey, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Of course, mine was bowling because that's what I did. But somebody like the one other people who do wrestling, yeah.
But it translates. It translates hand to hand, man. Like, it really does.
I know, yeah.
You made a solid point, and I think that's why I kind of tried to bridge it into for the wrestlers. Hey, this does translate for you guys. Just because he's talking bowling doesn't mean, bowling is very similar to wrestling. When you get out there bowling, it's you bowling for your score, but it also contributes to a team score. The same with wrestlers. We go to a dual meet, you have your singular match, but that contributes to the dual meet. So this does go hand in hand. Yeah, the wrestlers need to listen to this. Yeah.
Exactly. When you're motivated and you try out for a wrestling team, if you don't make it, don't worry about it. There's so many other wrestling teams you could apply for, so you could go for. So if you don't make it at one, keep trying out to every single wrestling team until you get in, and then you'll be good. There's a bunch of teams you don't get in with one team, don't be upset. Go with another team. They get you, and then you'll show the other team that they missed out for not picking
So
you.
let me break it for your wrestlers. What he means is, you go to one club. If you go to one club and you don't make the elite team for that club, he's saying that might not always be the club for you. Try another club. If you make their elite team, great. Keep trying to, like he says, you make an elite team to where you can best provide yourself the best opportunity to succeed and get better.
Yes, exactly. That's how it is, exactly. How it goes with any sport, anything. When you fail, don't give up and don't go cry and give up. Never give up. You don't get into a wrestling club. Go to the next one down the street or to another state or whatever you have. Keep trying and you're gonna be in a wrestling club. Just because one takes you down doesn't mean that you should be upset. That should motivate you to say, you know what? I want another wrestling club. You become part of that wrestling club. Then you could show the other wrestling club that didn't get you. You show them that they should have picked you. Now you're doing the best with the other wrestling club.
Right. So let's kind of let's break it down here. All clubs, when you go to wrestling clubs, all clubs when you go to wrestling clubs, you pay for them. You pay for the clubs. So first and foremost, he's right. You get a coach that says, I just don't think you're it. You go somewhere where you find somebody that says, I think I can make talent out of you. Yeah, that is very well a good point. That's a great point to bring up.
You have to pay when you try out.
No, you don't pay when you try out. But so to explain for the non-wrestlers, because this is bound to have come up. When you go to wrestling clubs, so if there's a wrestling club, it could be Beat Schmeats Wrestling or Ragtog's Wrestling Club or Iron Wrestling Club, whatever the case may be. Iron Wrestling Club is going to have a membership the same way boxing gyms do. You pay the membership, you go to class twice a week. Now you're in a wrestling club. That wrestling club may making the elite team may ask kids if they want to try out for the elite team. Now, with that being said, most clubs don't do this, but some of those bigger clubs with about 150 students or tons of students may tend to offer a tryout for. But no, you do pay. You pay at the club. You might not pay if they run an elite team. You might not pay to want to try out for that, but you do pay to have a membership. It's basically like if Park Elite, you pay to go to Park Elite, and Percy starts an elite boxing team that he runs around. That would be, the simulation if that was to happen. In no way, shape, form, I'm saying that is happening. I'm saying if it was to happen, that's how it would translate for the boxers in boxing.
Uh-huh.
That's just how it would literally translate. But no, it's great points on in terms of the as I keep saying, the mental wrestler. That's great points that the next man up mentality. The next man up. Now the other reason why we're here. How does friendship help athletics? So that's a huge question. That was actually a question that was asked to us. So we got it via one of our socials. So we're going to basically break it down. So obviously our answer is more boxing wise because both of us box, but I'm going to try as much as I can to bring it back in to wrestling as best I can. But yeah, so how does it help? It helps because I feel you get to watch your buddy. If you're not the best one, you get to watch your buddy get better. It's like we said, iron sharpens iron. You get to get better along next to your buddy and do some of the try to line yourself up with some of the same opportunities. And it just you get to help each other out. One gets a loss, you really get to look and say, hey, just because you didn't get it there today, you'll get the next one. It really does help. But I know our partake here as two podcasting guys and best friends here is strictly boxing. But wrestling wise, I had friends, not that I was super close with, but I had friends where it's like, hey, I just saw him get a pin. It helped me to say, hey man, it's your turn. Go get it. That was kind of the mentality when friendship, and it really does help. It makes the sport more fun when you have somebody that also enjoys it with you. So you have somebody who is a diehard wrestler that loves wrestling, and now you're a diehard wrestler. You'll probably be going to some of the camps together, if not same club, doing some of the same things that are really good together. And I think that's a good thing. Like being able to we hand in hand, we were in the boxing, we trained some of the same times. We did not have the same trainer, but we trained at some of the same times. We were in the gym at the same time. And then when there were times we were in there differently, there were times that one of us would say, oh, you're going later? I already went, but I'll go back. I'll go back and do another session. That tells to how we really stuck closely with each other saying, hey, I went home. I chilled for a little bit. I'm going to come back and go again. Really? Yeah, you're going now. I'll go back, go again. It really was something that was a really good thing. And that's an aspect that I was able to take from that even if I already went, I would go back again and say, hey, I'll go back again, will you? I'll go back again. Go a couple more rounds of training.
Exactly. Now my part of answering the question. I think being friendship with wrestlers and stuff, and like the question you're asking.
Yeah, well, it said friendship with athletics, so it said friendship inside of doing the same sport or athletics. So that was the question.
I mean, the way maybe mine is not gonna be really. I'm gonna say my point of view and might not answer the question, but I'll just say it. So of course
that's the way it is. It's a pod. All we ever give is our points of view. We don't ever tell anybody anything else but our point of view.
All right. So my point of view is I don't wrestle, but I'm gonna take my point of view of this. I'll say it another way. So for me, I never used to like wrestling. I was never a fan. I was never anything. But since Benoit used to wrestle for Roseport High School and for Wilkes University, I used to go to watch his I used to go to watch his wrestling in Roseport High School. When he used to wrestle for Roseport High School, because Benoit's my best friend, I'm like, you know what? Let me go watch wrestling. So after I started watching Benoit wrestle, I started liking wrestling. Now I love wrestling and I watch it every day when it's on. And that all started because of my friendship with Benoit because he was a wrestler. Because I used to never like wrestling, but because Benoit's my best friend and he wrestled, I went to watch him there and I got used to him wrestling. So I love wrestling. And I love wrestling thanks to Benoit because he was a wrestler and he taught me the way to love wrestling. So that's my thing of the way of friendship. I don't know if that correlates with what the question was, but that's my thing.
Nah, I mean, I get what you're saying. No, in short terms, no. The question was more or less friendship and athletics. But that kind of does cover about maybe like 10% of it. But I think what they were meaning is friendship in the same sport. So you're with a best friend, you do the same sport. You know, what is our opinion on that? Good or bad? What how do we feel on that? But I mean, it was a vague question, but I feel like
I
that's what
mean,
they meant.
I could answer a little bit more about that. I would say having a friend in the same sport, I think is like because both me and you were in football together. We both tried out. We both were in the team until I quit. For the time that I was in the team for just like 2, 3 days. However, I had fun going to football because I was with you and we both trained together and we both went to football practice together. So I liked that. So I like having a friend in the same sport because it was fun. Then after that course, I quit football and you stayed. But the time I was there, I had a great time training with you as a friend in football.
Yeah,
So
but you could still also testament to your time at Park Elite.
oh yes, I do with Park Elite because of course me and Benoit both boxers. We both signed up to Park Elite Boxing Academy to box there, and we both got in there together. We both started boxing there together. So that's also something good too because it's boxing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we both were at Park Elite, which I mean was really good. I mean, wrestling wise, it's like I say, some of this stuff was really good, and all the time, a lot of this stuff is always good stuff in terms of just all our stuff, in terms of what we were able to do. I think, like I said, there was good stuff coming from all of that, and and all of that was really good things being said. And
Uh,
like I said, there was really good stuff. Like good things were done. Um, boxing wise, we did.
what happened?
No, I'm just laughing because I put the gloves on to mess around. But as much as I
Oh,
say on here, we're not supposed to mess around. I mess around. But no, he's right. There were really good things that were done. That we did really good things. It's just in that time having friendship in a sport really gives you the thanks to be able to work together and do really good
exactly.
things. And I think that was like really good. I think in terms of that, that was a really good thing. But I know we kind of this episode has taken our not normal wrestling turn, but even when I had friends where I wrestled with, like some of them who went to the same club, who like I had friends who we started all at the same club together, and then when I switched clubs, they were there too, and it was like wow, like it's pretty good to know that some of that was able to partake, but it's like I said, being friends and doing some of the same things is like it's really good. It's really good. And in terms of answering athletics with friends, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, um, it's it's a good thing. It's not. I mean, they say the
Exactly.
bad is like, hey, you see your friend succeed better than you do, and it becomes like, man, I got to see my friend succeed and I didn't. But I guess it's one of the things that is to be said is like, hey, it is what it is. But it's one of those things where it's like, it is what it is. But
Exactly.
it's one of those things where I've always said, like, you want to, just because your friend does something doesn't mean you shouldn't. And I think that in terms of everything, that you shouldn't. Your friend does something, it may be good or bad for them, but you can always work in your own way. Now that I'm done goofing off with the boxing gloves, you know, I'm done goofing off, but no, it really is. That was another question that was asked a while ago. Why are we not so playful on here? There goes my playfulness. Boxing gloves on. There goes why we don't goof off, or why. Generally, it's because we take this podcast very seriously, and we try to tend to keep it as professional as possible. And I mean, when people ask us questions, they ask us questions. That was asked a while ago. I just saw a question about a couple of days ago, and I said, "All right, I'll poke some fun and pull out my boxing gloves just to mess around, so that the person can feel their question was finally answered." We just don't mess around, but there goes your fun poking around moment. But nonetheless, friendship in sports is really good, and a lot of sports you make friends from. You really do. You make a lot of friends to help each other out.
Yes, you
The
do.
the best story I can give for you is you go down to a tournament. I mean, this is the tournament. You go down to a tournament, you wrestle. Like, you go down there and you wrestle. Um, and you get down there and your teammate's overweight. How many times have you, as a friend or as a teammate, said, you know what? I'm gonna wrestle with him. He's got to lose weight. Let me help him out. In quite ways, it's sticking together like friendship. It is. It really is. It's sticking together as best you can in terms of it, sticking together in terms of doing stuff really, really well. And I think that's all but great things. In terms
Yes.
of that, is being able to take the friendship and athletics and really do it very well. You know, it's not too many times that you're able to see that a friend and another and another a friend and another and another a friend and a friend is able to do exactly what they're able to do. Now, with that being said, we are drawing near the end of this pod for today. You know, guys, it has been nonetheless a it has been a great one. We put some little laughs in there. As someone like to say, I put my claws on, I put my boxing gloves on just to mess around just a little bit. Um, you know, for the most part, you're not going to see too much of that. But yet again, this is the weigh-in. I mean, this episode was all over everywhere, but I hope it was enough for the mental wrestler to understand some of it. We try. And for everybody else that's getting on me for that, the partner's back, and I'm not supposed to say like, comment, subscribe, share. I won't say that this video. I'll let him say it because I know everybody's been getting on me why I said it. So with that being said, we are at the end of this podcast, and I'm gonna hand it over so I don't get everybody at me again.
All right. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. This Thursday video is posting 7 p.m. Be ready, watch it,
Takedown
love it.
Thursdays. Takedown
Of course,
Thursdays.
when you see this, you're gonna see me saying it's posting 7 p.m., but it's already posted because you're watching me say it. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications bell below so you can see us post every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. And please click the bell and please hit the subscribe. All you have to do is hit one finger, hit the red button, subscribe, and you subscribe and hit the bell once. That's it. It's that easy. Come on, guys, subscribe. It's not that hard.
Yeah, he makes a valuable, soluble point. I won't go and say it so I don't get dinged, but he makes a good point. We're getting out there. We do post Tuesday, Thursday to 7 p.m. and the occasional premiere Mondays. So they're very rare, but we do premiere some episodes on Mondays when they're very huge, big episodes. Well, don't you worry. We're in the talks of getting another premiere lined up for you guys. Don't you worry. We'll get another one going.
Exactly.
But we enjoy the Monday premieres, and we're trying to. Don't worry. We're still working on getting a live stream platform for us up that we can use where there's no need
Exactly.
any requirements. So we're still working on that. So we'll be working on the next premiered episode and the live stream after, so you can get up with us live. It's coming. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Great things, but nonetheless, this is the weigh-in by Ben Chestnut
Hey, Sebastian Romero, love you guys.
And this is yet another episode of Takedown Thursdays.
Let's
Weighing
go.
out.